Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. Thought I'd return to you this early evening for a album review, finally for the next Iron Maiden album review that I wanted to return to you for Fear of the Dark, the 1992 record. I got a chance to listen to for myself to see what I was going to think of this ninth studio album. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for the almost 58 minutes of this record, which is a 12-track album, and let you know my thoughts on Fear of the Dark overall. So let's dive into this ninth studio album review. Pretty much it starts with Be Quick or Be Dead, which is a very strong track. Really enjoyed Bruce Dickinson's vocals. Even though it was a little experimental, it still worked to an extent, and the drumming and guitar work is outstanding in this track. So this is a definite favorite song, 5 out of 5. From Here to Eternity, good song, but it's very repetitious when the chorus comes in, where it relies on that mainstream chorus, and it's very mainstream of a track, so you're in for a catchy song, no doubt about that, but I think it's good for how it sounds. Few execution flaws with the verses, but nothing terrible to where I dislike it. 4.5 out of 5. Afraid to Shoot Strangers is an above decent track. It's not one of my favorite tracks, but it's not terrible in any way. So I dig it a little, but I have my critiques with this one. A little bit of critiques on this track. So 4.25 out of 5. And the way Bruce Dickinson's singing this track is hit or miss for me. Fear is the Key is a interesting song, but it's above decent. It's a little bit like where Bruce Dickinson's vocal range is hit or miss with this one. Has its good moments, but it relies on some moments in the track where I'm just not connecting with the verses. And the chorus is kind of iffy. So 4.25 out of 5 for this one. I think it was fairly decent, like above decent at best. Childhood's End is another 4.25 out of 5 for me for this one. It's above decent as well. It's not one of the best tracks, not one of the worst that I've heard on the record. So it had something going for it, but the execution was the main thing for this song overall. So it Bruce Dickinson's vocals have its good and weak moments in Childhood's End, but it's overall, it's just 4.25 out of 5. Wasting Love did have its melodic moments for this track, and I didn't hate that about the track, but I just didn't like how it was executing with Bruce Dickinson's vocals from time to time. So, in all honesty, it was kind of a hit or miss kind of track, where it did have some strong moments, but it had its weak moments as well. So it's kind of in the middle a little bit with me. So 4.25 out of 5. It's not like an in the middle, like I'm neutral with this track or I'm mixed with this track. I just feel that this could have been a little better. The Fugitive was a good song. I was impressed with this one. This felt like it was trying to get back into what it was offering at the beginning of the record for the first two tracks. But it's a 4.5 out of 5. It's a good song. I think this is another highlight on the record as well. But overall, yeah, 4.5 out of 5. Bruce Dickinson's vocals are fairly strong in this track. So, and also the guitar work and drum work, I'll give them credit. The instrumentation is very strong in this record. But I will tell you what I really think of it overall as I get to the end of the review. So 4.5 out of 5 for The Fugitive. Chains of Misery is above decent as well. There's a lot of above decent songs on this record that got 4.25 out of 5s. But it's overall a little better than decent, but it's just, So, yeah, Bruce Dickinson's vocals have its hit or miss moments with this track. Like, it does well, and then it executes in a slightly cringy way at times. So yeah, The Apparition was a above decent track. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. I was very mixed with some moments in the track, but there were some strong highlights in this song with Bruce Dickinson with his singing at times. Verses are a little weak, but the chorus is a highlight a little bit, so it's a 4.25 out of 5. Judas Be My Guide. Um, I think this one was another above decent track. It's going to get a 4.25 out of 5. I didn't hate it for how it sounded. I just think execution-wise, this could have been a little better. With how the melody was sounding structure-wise, and just the way Bruce Dickinson's singing it, it kind of has its hit or miss moments. Then we get to Weekend Warrior, which is one of the worst tracks on the record. I had a feeling I was going to hate it. A good friend of mine told me I was going to dislike this track, and he was right. I really despise this track. I don't hate it that much, but I think it's a bad song. I think with how Bruce Dickinson's singing it, it sounds immature, childish with the lyrics. The lyrical content is very just juvenile, basically, with how it sounds. It just doesn't work with the song and its melody. The tune to the track is very much a miss. So 2.5 out of 5. And give me a second, I gotta pause the video. Sorry about that, guys. Had to help my mom out with something for a moment. But to get back on track, yeah, Weekend Warrior was a bad song, so it's 2.5 out of 5. And finally comes the closing track, Fear of the Dark, which is a pretty good track. I really enjoyed the closing track to this record. The title track is very strong. It basically started off melodic, then it picks up as you keep going through the track, and in a strong way it does very well. So this is a 5 out of 5 for the closing track. I did enjoy how Bruce Dickinson was singing this track for the most part, and just the way the guitar work and drum work sounded. So very strong track, 5 out of 5. Overall, production, mixing, and execution-wise, would I say I'm a fan of Fear of the Dark? I'm kind of mixed on this record. I don't hate it, but I don't love it, basically. I think this record does have its issues, where the last track was the one that kind of messed up how I'm going to give this rating it's for this record, but overall, there was a few tracks I could come back to on this record, like, let's say Be Quick or Be Dead, From Here to Eternity, The Fugitive, and Fear of the Dark are my personal favorite tracks. Everything else is kind of just fairly decent to kind of cringe. So, yeah, it's kind of an underwhelming record at times. But there are some highlights to this record that keep it straight in the middle with how I feel. So I'm very mixed about this album. And if I were to give Fear of the Dark its deserved score, in my opinion, I'm giving Iron Maiden's Fear of the Dark a 6 out of 10. It's meh for how it sounds. I think this record could have been a little better, but for what I listened to with it, it's just eh. So, yeah, 6 out of 10 for Iron Maiden Fear of the Dark, their 9th studio album. I hope you enjoyed this 9th studio album. I'll have the X Factor coming out in the next day or so, or probably by the weekend at the latest, because I know it's with Blaze Bayley singing for the next 2 albums, I think. And overall, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review this evening time tonight, and thank you guys for watching.